the Torah discuss the man. Man is the food, the food from heaven that was coming down to this world, and the people of Israel ate it for 40 days. This man was a very special type of food. It looked very weird. It looked like seeds, coriander seeds. And they were white. Now, think to yourself, okay, God is giving me seeds to eat for 40 years. Right? It's like, it's not satisfying. But this man was super satisfying because it was a miraculous food. Whatever you would think at that moment, that's the taste and the vitamins and whatever you want to get. You want to have now, in this bite, you want to have a peach, you're going to have a peach. In the next bite, you want to have meat, you're going to have meat. That's how it worked. It somehow the man synced with our imagination. Okay, this is the AI of dear times. That was a little bit more professional than the AI that we have today. Slowly we'll get there. So, this man is the food that Am Yisrael used to get. It's brought down in the holy books that any time that we speak about food, speak about bread, and especially speak about the man basically symbolize in Judaism income. Food is you ask people, why do you go to work? I need something to eat. I need to bring food to my children. So, food is described as income. Man symbolize the wealth of a person. Now, the man, they say that when you read Parashat Hamann, this phrase, Aliyah Shishi, the sixth Aliyah of our parasha, if you read it on a Tuesday, and the Tuesday that we read the parsha of Beshalach, the parsha of the man, we read it this week, and that Tuesday you read this phrase of the man, which symbolizes income. If you read it 2 times in Hebrew, and 1 time in translation, Aramaic, or maybe you can even do English, this is a sgula. This will attract a blessing of wealth for the whole year. So this Tuesday is the Tuesday that if we read that phrase in this way, we will basically bringing wealth and security for the money that we have already to this year. This is what brought down in the books. The person that revealed this segula is a very interesting rabbi. He lived around 200 years ago in Poland. Actually, recently in my trip to Poland, if you remember, when I was away, I went to his grave. Rabbi Menachem Mendel from Rimanov. Rabbi Menachem Mendel from Rimanov. 22 years he was researching and giving classes and writing books about that phrase of the man. For 22 years. He took it as a project of his life. He understood from heaven, somehow, that this place in the Torah that talks about man, about money, it's his thing. 22 years is spent for that. By the way, in one place he even revealed the reason. He says that he knows that by learning that, he is not just opening his blessing for having income, he's doing it for the whole nation. And in his time, the nation of Israel was in a very, very hard financial situation, especially in Poland where they lived. So he, by learning this type of Torah about the man, which symbolized wealth, he basically brought energy of wealth to the people of Israel. So it's very interesting also that his name, it's hinted his name, this connection that he had to the man. What's his name? Menachem Mendel. The word Menachem starts with Mem Nun, man. The second name, Mendel, also starts with Mem Nun, man. And the city where he came from, and it's basically this city symbolizing, because everybody calls him by the city he lived, Rabbi Menachem Mendel from Rimanov. Look at the middle letters of Rimanov is also man. So he has man, everything is man. So he was learning it for 22 years. And he said that on the Tuesday, which is today, of Parashat Beshalach, if you read that man 2 times and 1 time in translation, you get a blessing of wealth. You get a protection for income. Great. So a lot of people, especially in Israel, they do this once a year. And Baruch Hashem, each one get this blessing. Of course, it depends on how much you understand what you're saying and the way you say it. But it's a good segula. I have a question on this segula. Why Tuesday? Yeah? What's the big deal with Tuesday? Now, it's very interesting because the same rabbi, before he passed away, in his eulogy kind of, he said to his students, guys, if you will light a candle for me on Tuesday, I promise you that from heaven I will pray for you that you will get whatever you ask after lighting the candle. That's what the rabbi said before he passed away. So, by the way, this is also a tremendous sgula. If a person is in a problem in life, it doesn't matter what type of problem. Or you have something very important that you want to be successful. Let's say you have a test tomorrow, and today is Tuesday and tomorrow is Wednesday. So you take a candle on Tuesday and you say, I light this candle for the soul of Rabbi Menachem Mendel from Rimanov. And please, God, give me success in the test tomorrow, in the interview tomorrow, in the Bezat Hashem birth tomorrow, whatever you're going through. Again, the same question. But why Tuesday? What's so important about Tuesday? Maybe it's also connected to the reason we have the class on Tuesday. Maybe. But Tuesday definitely should be a special day. Already we have 2 sgulot that has to do with income on Tuesday. From the same rabbi. Now, to make this question a little bit even more interesting, I will tell you what the Arizal says. Arizal, you know Arizal. He lived 500 years ago, one of the greatest Kabbalists that the Jewish nation had. This man lived only 38 years. But the amount of knowledge he knew and he brought to the world, and the miracles that he did, it's just unbelievable in this so short time. Rabbeinu Arizal, he could understand the animals. He knew the language of the animals. A bird will go and do, like the crow will scream and say kal, and he will tell you what he means. Rabbeinu Ari is like an X-ray. He looks at you, he knows what good actions you did today and yesterday and what sins you did. He see it on your forehead. Rabbi Chaim Vitali's student says, like every day I'm coming, the guy just telling me what I did, what I didn't do. This is Rabbeinu Ari. Now Rabbeinu Ari has a lot of insights in Torah. Arizal, if you read, it's a little bit hard in a lot of places to understand the Arizal because he speaks very with Kabbalistic terms. But when you understand what Arizal wants to say, this is like divine information, clearly divine information. So in one place, Arizal say, he talks about learning Kabbalah and the conditions of a person that wants to be go in deep into Kabbalah. What should he do? So he has a whole introduction, and there he says also that this person that wants to be a great man of Kabbalah, he needs to make sure that most of his time he spend on learning and less of his time he spend on working, which makes sense. And he says, so when should he work? He should make his work on Tuesday and Wednesday. And by the way, he says that this is the best days for working and for blessing in work. And any business you want to succeed, it's better you do it on Tuesday or Wednesday, or anything you want to be more successful or great or blessed in business, those 2 days are the best days. Now, Arizal, I really like his teachings, but there's one thing that in Arizal teaching, it's very hard for me. He doesn't always explain. He just throws something, for business, Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, but why? Seems like he had a short life, and he couldn't tell us all the explanations. Now, a lot of rabbis that came after that, they do explain it. Now, I had this question about the Tuesday for years. I didn't understand why Tuesday, according to Arizal, is the best day to do business. I didn't understand why Rabbi Menachem Mendel from Rimanov says, the Sgula with the candle, if you want to get whatever you want to get, light the candle for my soul on Tuesday. And also why the Parashat Hamann that we read now to have wealth and blessing and income, why it's dafka on Tuesday. By the way, it doesn't necessarily, if you want to get the bracha, the blessing of protecting your income or having more income by reading Parashat Hamann, this Tuesday has a tremendous moment for that. However, it's brought down in other books that if a person take it as a daily prayer to read this phrase of Parashat Hamann, again, Aliyah Shishit in Parashat Beshalach, the 6th Aliyah in our Parasha, that talks about the food that Am Yisrael ate in the desert, the man. If you read it on a daily basis, Rabbeinu Bachye, he lived 900 years ago, one of the great rabbis, he says that this person that reads it every day, he would never be needy for money. He would never be in need if you read it on a daily basis. One of the other rabbis, the Tashbetz, which was also approximately not very far away from him, he says on the same thing that this is a piece of Talmud in Yerushalmi that said so, that if a person reads Parashat Hamann on a daily basis, which takes technically, for me, maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Whoever reads it, says the Tashbetz, En mezonotav mitma'atim. His income would not go down. This looks like a good insurance, Now, if he would end this there, I would say, okay, that's nice, let's try. And he says it after, ve'ani arev lazeh, and I guarantee it. Now, when a big rabbi tells you, I guarantee, like I'm the guarantor, that's already serious. They don't just throw promises, Those people are very careful with their words, and especially with whatever they write. If you read it on a daily basis, it says, I'm the guarantor that your income would not go down. So, Trump is making 25% and the dollar is going to go. Don't worry, you read Parashat Hamann. It's fine. Okay? That's how it sounds like. I'm telling you what's written. Okay? Now, the Chafetz Chaim says, but what is this? Okay, I just read a text and all of a sudden, okay, I'm not going to go down. My income is not going to go down. How does it work? Chafetz Chaim says, obviously, we're not talking about just a text that you read without understanding. The main part of Parashat Hamann is to understand what you read, because what Parashat Hamann is talking about? This Parashat of Hamann is talking about the nation of Israel that faced a very, very hard situation. They go in the desert and they don't have food. I mean, they do have food now, but they see that the food is about to finish. You know, how much matzot, people can eat. The matzot are going very fast. On Pesach, you finish matzot, it's crackers. So they saw that the food is we are short in food. All of a sudden, they say, okay, ma nochal, what we're going to eat? God says to Moshe, don't worry. Hineni mamtir lachem lechem min hashamayim. I'm going to send you food, bread from heavens. And this bread came down, and it was much. If you go into the Torah and you look at how it was, each one got the food exactly the amount that he needs. Now God told them, you're not allowed to keep for tomorrow. It means, you got man today, only for today. You go to sleep, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Imagine you go to sleep every day with a zero in your bank account. How does it feel? What's going to be tomorrow? Tomorrow is a new day. You have to believe that God will give you. By the way, there were people more close to our generation, 200 years ago, that lived like this. The Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Elimelech Milizhansk, those people, they had money. They took the money that they need for the day. The rest, whatever is left, they right away, before they go to sleep, they give it to donation. Need families in need, which makes him basically in need right now, because he is in zero balance. He says he goes to sleep with a zero balance. Why? I want to believe in God that tomorrow He will give me. I get from Him, I don't get from anyone else. I don't depend on my savings. Imagine what a level of a person. I depend on God only, not on my savings. So Am Yisrael, our nation, needed to live like this every day for 40 years. What's going to be tomorrow? I don't know. I have a zero balance. I have no man left. I'm not allowed to leave man for tomorrow. I have to believe that tomorrow I will get the same. So, by the way, this was very challenging for some people. And Moshe Rabbeinu told them, don't leave for tomorrow. If you will leave for tomorrow, worms will come out of the food. And that's what happened. Datan and Aviram, there were two guys, troublemakers, that they said to everybody, don't worry, Moshe, with all his things, everything will be fine. You can save, put it in the fridge, everything is going to be fine. And they did it, and in the morning it was all worms. Moshe Rabbeinu got very mad at them and says, why don't you listen? Ma, but what are we going to eat tomorrow? Believe. How am I going to marry my kids? Believe. People worried about the future. Jewish life, real Jewish life, is zero worries about future. Why? Because when you worry about future, it means you don't trust God. You trust yourself or your saving or whatever you have. You trust nature. And our work in life is to less trust the nature and depend on God. This is one of the main, if not the main, job of a Jew in this world. So, the man basically describes that all is from God. Your money, and by the way, this is why it says in the Parashat Hamann, very interesting words. God says, guys, I am giving you food tomorrow. Yeah, but he said it in a way, Ineni mamtir lachem, I am sending a rain of bread down from heaven. Why did God call it a rain of bread? Say, I am bringing down bread for you guys tomorrow. Why you use this term of ani mamtir, I rain bread to you? What it has to do with rain. So there's a very interesting interpretation on that. It says that man symbolizes our money, our income, like we said already. The wealth, the income of the person is like rain. Can you control the rain? Can you have like, okay, a little bit less, a little bit more, put more volume, less? Can you do that? We can't control the rain. Whatever rain comes, a lot, if less, that's what it is. It's 100% humanity don't have control on rain. Can the biggest president of the world control the rain? With all the powers and technology, can you control the rain? Rain comes from God. God decides if to give a lot of rain or to give a little bit of rain. Now here it says, I am giving you man as your income, like a rain. It means the income that each one of us gets, we have no control on it. That's the truth. If you think that the money that you have is because you gained it, you worked for it, you have a big mistake, my friend. Hashem give you the money, period. It doesn't matter if you're smart, it doesn't ever matter if you have a degree or you don't have a degree. I know people that they have mamash no IQ and they have a lot of money. I know them personally. And they even say it. I know a very rich man in New York that he came to me after a lecture. I said a story about something, and he told me he's a billionaire, and he doesn't know how to write and read normally. I thought this is only in the books, you know, those stories. I actually met a guy. That's how it is. So, money is like rain. You have to understand that we have no control on our money. We think, oh yeah, I'm learning, I'm doing it. This is all you think. God decided at the end of the day, okay, I give you the 10,000 or I don't give you the 10,000. I give you the deal or I don't give you the deal. We all play. Now, we need to play. God wants us to do it because we need to fix different things in the world. So, yeah, go to work. Yeah, go all do all this. But this is not what giving you the money technically. Now, the man teach us that this is how it is. The nation of Israel got the money from God. By the way, there was a selection between people also there. Not everybody got the man in the same way. Some people got it right beside the house. He came out, he saw the man. Others, they didn't find it. They needed to go search for it. They had a certain sign, if it's deers. Someone needed to go a kilometer to get his food, man. Why? Because they got their man according to their level of trust. Because they had zero balance, no man left, no food, not for you, not for your family. Imagine a person, they had a lot of kids, those people. By the way, according to Kabbalah, we all were there. Our souls reincarnated in this generation. We all were in the generation of coming out of Egypt. We just don't remember. So, they had a lot of kids. Imagine a family with 20 kids. 14 kids. The guy goes to sleep. Voila, what's going to be tomorrow? What's going to be tomorrow? Okay, yeah, God gave us yesterday, but who knows what God, will decide tomorrow. So some of them didn't have trust. When you were scared, you didn't have full trust, God used to hint it to you. How? The man would be far. How far? According to your to the lack of trust that you had. And that's how every day they would basically know their level. Oh, today I got it very, very close. Yesterday was very far. That's how they could know where I am. So, by reading it every day, you basically understand again that, so the money is not me. Me going to work, me doing those business. That's why a person that really believes in that, let's say you have a deal. Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. I had a guy this week. He told me that I should help him in something, and if I help him in something, I get $8 million. I'm serious. I needed to get, you were in the meeting, right? You were in the meeting. He told me, I need to get $8 million. Like, imagine now you can't get, you're going to be so bothered by this, right? Like, okay, is this work? Didn't work? You're going to get $8 million. Nachon? I didn't do anything. I just connected two people. That's it. But you're going to get it. But I was so happy that it didn't bother me even. Because I knew that, okay, if I need to get the $8 million, I will get it. I don't need to worry, they don't do. If you need to get it, you'll get it. Next week I'll tell you if I got it. But in that there's going to be a little bit more food. I actually read it already, and I didn't, you know what? I didn't have intention for that. I just read it because I had a class at 1:30. I have a class with Israelis, and so I read it. We read it all together. So, but Bezrat Hashem, you don't know. But if you worried, and you always call the guy, did it happen? Didn't happen? You did it? You didn't do it? It means you don't trust God. It means you think that it's your hishtadlut, it's your effort who makes the $8 million. No, it's not. It's Hashem. Now, the funny thing is, the more we don't trust God, the more we doubt, the more we think we do something, we basically, according to spiritual law, we damage our income. The more you worry about the money, you damage your money. That's why Parashat Hamann, it's a zgula to have more money. Why? Because when you read it every day, you understand, okay, money is from God, money is from God, money is from God. Every day, money is from God, not from me. So you basically trust God, you don't think it's you, so you don't damage your money, so you will be wealthy. That's how it works. In Hebrew, it's called bitachon. Bitcoin, bitachon. They write it the same in Hebrew. Bitachon, Bitcoin, it's the same. Okay, it doesn't matter. Let's not get into it. Bli Neder will make a Bitcoin class also. I have a lot of insights on this. So, this is the Sgula of Parashat Hamann. Now, let's go to the answers. We asked about the Tuesday, Wednesday thing. Now, one answer for the Tuesday, why Tuesday is such an important day for income, according to Arizal, Rabbi Menachem and the Mirinov says all the segulot of income is Tuesday or Wednesday. One of the reasons, the simple reason, is because if you look at the creation, how God created the world, Tuesday basically was the luckiest day. When God created everything in the world, every day, He said the phrase, Vayar Elohim Kitov, and God saw it's good. Only on Monday He didn't say good. Because on Monday, the evil was created, the hell was created, the demons were created, and the first separation between the water also was happening. Separation means machloket, means fight. So God didn't say good in Monday. That's why Monday is a challenging day. People that were born on Monday, they like to argue. The Gemara says that. Now, Tuesday, if you look at the Torah, you see something very interesting. God didn't say good on Monday, but on Tuesday He said twice good. Pa'amayim kitov. Means, okay, there was not good on Monday, but Tuesday, okay, let's give Him 2, 2 times good. That's why in Hebrew there is a phrase, people say it, Yom Shlishi Pa'amayim kitov. On Tuesday is twice good. So, according to this, Tuesday is a lucky day. So maybe that's why Arizal says work on Tuesday, it's a lucky day, 2 times tov. Maybe that's why Rabbi Menachem says Tuesday, light a candle for me, Tuesday, read the Parashat Hamann. But this is one explanation. The more deep, by the way, the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat on page 156 says what I just told you about the people that were born on Monday. The Gemara says they're about every day. People that were born on Sunday, they have a special characters. Yes, Sunday people, they are very fanatic. You know what's fanatic? Extreme. Me too. Yeah, of course. According to Judaism, Sunday night is Monday, right? So, or Saturday night is a Sunday. So I'm talking about Judaism, which comes in the sunset of the day before, and the sunset of the day before, and the sunset of the day after. Okay, so people that were born on the Gemara says on Sunday, they will be very, very extreme. They would either be very righteous people or very, troublemakers. They are if they go on the bad side, they will be like the head of the mafia. If they go on the good side, they will be like, the Rosh Yeshiva. They are very extreme, either good or bad. People that were born on Monday, I told you, they have problem with anger a little bit, with arguing with people. But there's also people that knows how to put boundaries. Okay, I'm not going to say all of them now. You can go and see in the Gemara. But people that were born on Tuesday, this is very interesting. People that were born on Tuesday, they say, now they also give a reason, yeah? The Torah also gives a reason. It says on Sunday, God created all the extremes. Sky and earth. Light and darkness. Right? On Monday, there was a separation. That's why people separate. Monday, arguing. On Tuesday, God created all the growings. Trees, grass, all the things that grow. Grow fast. That's why people that were born on Tuesday, the Gemara says, they grow financially. They have a good potential of making money. they have more chances to be rich. Next time you go to a date, you ask her, when did you born? Like, what day? I just want to make sure, that we match. Tuesday, it also has its minuses, by the way, yeah? People that were born on Tuesday, they have more challenge in desire to the other men to women, women to men. They have more than other people. Means people that were born on Tuesday will have more challenge in cheating or not. So it has also their minus. It doesn't mean that they're going to do it, chas v'shalom, but they have it more than other people. Why? Because they were born in a time that everything grew. And this is what's the character build and is being affected by those days. Now, because people that were born on Tuesday, it says in the Gemara that they will be more rich. Now it makes sense. Now we understand that Tuesday, it's a kind of a day that has a blessing of wealth. People that were born on that day, they get wealth. Kitov, God says 2 times good, means it's a lucky. The growings were growing, which they symbolize of growth. But this is still, first of all, it maybe answers a little bit of why Tuesday, but what about Wednesday? We says that also Wednesday, it's a day that is lucky and good for business. So, as I told you, for years I was looking for an answer for that. And Baruch Hashem, not long ago, I read an answer, which also teach me that never give up. Sometimes we have questions and we think, okay, nobody can solve it. There's no answer to that question. I'm telling you, it happened to me so many times. Sometimes after 10 years, you get an answer. Yesterday, I had a class in an Israeli class. Like the same class that we have here, I give in Hebrew one day before. Sometimes I give different topics. It depends if I had time to prepare another topic. But yesterday, after the class, a lady came up to me and she told me, I have a question. And I said, okay, please. She says, but I asked all the rabbis this question and nobody answered because they don't have an answer. So I say, if you believe that you'll get an answer, ask. If you don't believe that you want to get an answer, so don't ask. So she says, no, but I want to try. Maybe you have an answer. Zat Hashem. And she asked it, and I answered, and then she's like, oh, that makes sense. So I asked her, did I answer your question? She says, wow, yes. She was so excited. And then I told her, it's not me. It's when you need to receive a certain information, God will give it to you. When you have questions on God or on life or on Torah, never make a conclusion before you get the answer that satisfies you. Hold this in standby and wait. There is answers to all the questions. I'm telling you. It's just a matter of time. When you deserve to get the right answer that will satisfy you. So I was waiting for this answer, and I want to share that answer with you. So again, the question is, what's so special about Tuesday and Wednesday that they become the most luckiest days for business according to Judaism and Kabbalah? And why the Segula of the Tuesday of Rabbi Menachem Mendel from Rimanov, it's Tuesday. What's so special about it? So for that, we have to go a little bit more deeper into Kabbalah. So put your seat belts and Bezat Hashem. I don't take responsibility of what's happening after this. I'm just kidding. It's not so deep, but it's a little bit deeper than what we were speaking until now. So basically, Kabbalah teaches the physics of the spiritual world. Okay, there's the physics of the physical world. There's also physics to the spiritual world. So, spiritual world, for example, is our soul. How is your soul built? Kabbalah explains that. Nobody can know this information but God. He created the soul. He knows how the soul built. Psychologists trying for years to understand a little bit of the soul of a human, they don't get even to a 1% of understanding. The body they can check. Okay, the body has this and this a number of organs. This organ work like this organ work like that. This one depend on that one. You can know, you can analyze the body. You can know the physics of the body. No problem. We see it, we touch it, we hear it, we taste it. We have tools how to understand the body. We don't have tools to understand the soul unless you are in a very high level spiritual. So the only way we can understand, and that's why I'm sorry for all the psychologists that hear me or hear, I love you. It's all good. It's good to deal with that, to learn it. You can understand something, you can help a little bit, but to understand the soul, it's just, you can't, because there's no way to test it. You cannot touch it, you cannot see it, you cannot hear it, you cannot nothing. You can just assume from results that you see on people. So psychology would never be a guarantee science, because it deals with the soul, and soul is something you cannot test in a laboratory. From the other side, Kabbalah tells you, okay, we are not trying to test the soul, we just receive the information from the creator of the soul. How does it work? The one who created the computer told us how the motherboard works. So now, Kabbalah comes and teaches you how the soul works. So this is a little bit physics of the soul. Our soul technically is built from 5 levels. Okay? 5 parts. It's called in Kabbalah Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida. 3 parts of the soul are inside the body. 2 parts are outside of the body. It's called aura, surrounding light, call it whatever you want. This is, those 2 parts are very high, and we usually don't speak about them. They're very, very high level. Mainly what we live with is those 3 parts, which called Naran in acronym. Naran is Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. Nefesh is the lowest part, is located in the liver. Ruach is the second part of the soul, is located in the heart. And Neshama is the third part of the soul, which is located in the brain. Each one of those levels of soul is correspond to a certain main thing in our life. The Nefesh, which is the lowest, is correspond to the actions. All our actions in life, we move, we run, we eat, we sleep, it's connected to the Nefesh. The energy of all those actions is depend on your Nefesh, which is in the liver. Second one is Ruach, is in the heart. It's the speech. Our speech is what makes us more unique, basically, from the animals. We have that ability, and this ability is because we have Ruach, what the animals don't have. Ruach is the second part of soul, which is located in the heart, which corresponds to speech. And Neshama is located in the brain and corresponds to the thoughts, to the intellect. So we have those 3 levels. Now we have a day called Shabbat. A very good day. Relax. Shabbat, it's a relaxing day. Should be. But Shabbat has a lot more than just don't work and relax. Shabbat is the spiritual day of the week. And on Shabbat, we get something called neshama yetera. We get an extra soul. I'm sure you heard about this term. That on Shabbat, we get an extra soul. By the way, you can check it. Do you know that on Shabbat, your abilities to eat are a lot more than a weekday? Try to eat the same amount that you eat on Shabbat on a weekday, you would not be able to. Somehow the stomach has more space on Shabbat. You know why? Because you get an extra soul. Now, do you know why when we eat, we feel satisfied? Not because we don't have space. We do have space. Everything you eat, it also has an energy. Not just physical. When you eat it physically, your soul eats the energy. And the soul, when it gets whatever it needs, tells you, okay, that's it, I don't want more. And then you don't have desire for more. You don't want to eat more. And then, so when you get an extra soul, what happens? You have more potential to carry more food. That's why on Shabbat you can eat more. Now, we get an extra, every Jew. I'm talking only about Jews right now. Okay? People that are not Jewish, they don't get an extra soul on Shabbat. They are not in this section. They can become Jews and they get the extra soul. Now also people that are Jews but they don't observe the Shabbat, the extra soul that they get is very tiny. Sometimes they don't feel it even. Why? Because the more you prepare yourself for the Shabbat, so you have a vessel to get more light, to get more extra soul. Now, this extra soul that we get, we don't get it, we get it to all parts of the soul. So the nefesh, and again, now please focus because it's getting more deep. The nefesh gets an extra soul. The ruach gets an extra soul. And the neshama gets an extra soul. Okay? Now, when Shabbat ends, what do? We do something called havdalah. Havdalah means we separate from the holy day of Shabbat to the weekdays. In the havdalah, we smell an aroma. Why do we do that? Because the extra soul leaves. And because when the extra soul leaves, it's very hard for the soul, so we want it to leave with a good aroma. It makes it easier. Now, which extra soul leaves on the Havdalah? Not one of those nefesh ruach neshama. The extra soul of the surrounding light, of the aura, that also got an extra soul, this is leaves. Now, on Sunday, you still have the extra soul of your nefesh ruach neshama. At the end of Sunday, the extra soul of the neshama, which corresponds to the thoughts, leaves. On Monday, the extra soul, which corresponds to the ruach, to the speech, leaves at the end of Monday. And on Tuesday, the extra soul that was still left from the nefesh, which corresponds to the actions, leaves. So after Tuesday night today, when you go to sleep, you basically no extra soul. But when you wake up in the morning tomorrow, you know what's happening? You get a piece of an extra soul from the Shabbat that will be. It's called getting a spark from the Shabbat that will be. Until now, we were, basically our soul was fitted by the Shabbat before. Shabbat is the source of blessing. Now we finished. Now we get from the Shabbat that's coming. So on Wednesday morning, when your soul coming back in the morning, basically, you get an extra soul from the Shabbat that will be in the level of nefesh, which corresponds to the actions. On Thursday, you get an extra soul from the Shabbat that will be to your ruach, which corresponds to the speech. And on Friday, you get an extra soul from the world of the neshama, which corresponds to the thoughts. That's why, by the way, when you don't do Avdallah at the end of Shabbat, according to the law, you can still do it until Tuesday. Why? Because Tuesday is the end. That's it. No more from the Shabbat before extra soul. Also, now you will understand why in synagogue we read the Torah only 2 days in the week. What days we read the Torah?
Monday, Thursday.
Why Monday and Thursday? Because if you look according to what we explained right now, the days that we get extra soul to our speech, ruach, is Monday from the Shabbat before, and it's Thursday from the Shabbat after. So those 2 days is basically the days that correspond to the speech. By the way, people that are teachers or whatever, on Mondays and Thursdays you will have more blessing in speech. Anything you do with your speech, with talking, Mondays and Thursdays, there's more energy in the world that can help you with that.
I always wondered why Monday and Thursday. Never knew.
Yeah. So now you know the Kabbalistic reason why. And now, guys, you will understand why Tuesday and Wednesday are the days that business is more lucky and more, it's good for business. Because Tuesday is the day that we have that corresponds to the nefesh that we get from the extra soul from the Shabbat that was before. And nefesh corresponds to actions. And Wednesday, you get an extra soul from the Shabbat that will be to the level of your nefesh, to your actions. So basically in those 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, the nefesh gets an extra soul. That's the day of actions. That's why any actions you will do, business, it's actions. Money, materialism, will be more successful in those 2 days. This is analyzing Kabbalistically how the world works. That's why Arizal comes to you and just say, okay, listen, you know what's the best days for work? Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Bye. But why? Now you understand why. Because according to the world of spiritual physics, if you understand the days, you will understand that for actions, that's the day that get more blessing from God. Now we can understand why those gulot, things to do, to read, to have more income, are on Tuesdays. And can also be done on Wednesday because it has the same power. Now we understand why Rabbi Menachem Mendel from Rimanov, which all his life was dedicated 22 years to the research of Parashat Hamann, which is talking about income, he tells you that if you want me to help you in heaven, light me a candle on Tuesday because Tuesday is my day. All my life I spent for explaining the energy of wealth of Parashat Hamann. And that's why Tuesday is my day. It's connected to me, it's connected to my soul. You light a candle for me on Tuesday. And when you do Parashat Hamann at the once a year, at that week that we read the Parashat Hamann, which is the most powerful, you better do it on Tuesday, which will make it perfectly for your income. So this is one. Now we can start the lecture. Actually, the time is already up, but I have to tell you another thing. Another way, spiritual way to get blessing in income, in wealth. By the way, I have to say that the Torah, when the Torah describes the man, the Torah says, "Vehaman kezera gad hu," and the man is like seeds of coriander. I told you that before. Coriander in Hebrew, in real Hebrew, it's called gad. Gimel Daled. Gad in Hebrew, it's also luck. Now, very interesting that Gad is the man. Man's called Gad. If you look at the word Gad in Hebrew, it's Gimel Daled. Gimel is 3. Daled is 4. Tuesday and Wednesday. It's even hinted in the Parashat Hamann in the name of the man, Gad. I needed to say it. Now we can go to the next one. Huh? Yes, nachon. The second thing is, okay, I'll say it quick because it's already, it's not so late, but yesterday I did the same lecture in Hebrew. I mean, a little bit different. We started at 8:30, we finished at 10, and then I told them, okay, I have another story to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you because it's too late. And everybody's like, no, we'll stay. But I'm not going to say the story here. Anyhow, just that thing, I'm going to say it very quick. I think it's going to be very beneficial for your parnasah, for your income, for your wealth. All of you. All of us. There is, Yakov, our father. Before he passed away, he blessed all his kids. It's brought down in Parashat Vayechi. He got Reuven, blessed him. Shimon, blessed him. Yosef, everybody. When he comes to Asher, one of the 12 tribes, Asher, he tells him, "Me'asher shemena lachmo ve'u iten ma'adane melech." He says, Asher, your bread is oily. And you get the blessing of wealth. So Asher basically got the blessing of wealth. Be'emet Asher was very wealthy. They lived in the north of Israel where there is a lot of olives. They used to make olives, make olive oil. They were very successful. It says in the Kabbalah books that, by the way, every businessman should do it to be more successful. Every day in the morning after prayer, if you want to be wealthy, say 10 times this blessing. The blessing of Asher. It's one phrase. Me'asher shemena lachmo ve'u iten ma'adane melech. Go find it in Parashat Vayechi, in the blessings of the kids. The blessing of Asher. Say it 10 times every morning. Gives you a blessing. But there is another thing here. Me'asher shemena lachmo. Asher has an oily bread. He will get the blessing of wealth. We spoke about Shabbat today. Let's take the word Shabbat. Shin bet taf. Let's see what comes before Shabbat. What does that mean? It means like what's the letters that are before the letters of Shabbat. So Shin, what's the letter in the alphabet that is before Shin? Reish. Bet, this is easy. Aleph. And Taf, the one that comes before Taf, is Shin. It comes to the word Asher, the son of Yaakov that got the blessing of wealth. So right before Shabbat, we have the letters of Asher. Interesting. Says our sages, they say that when you accept the Shabbat earlier, you take the Shabbat and you make it earlier, you know what you get? You get Asher. You get the blessing of wealth. Shabbat comes on, let's say, 5:15. You look at the calendar, candlelight, 5:15. You say, 1 second. I get it at 5:05. Welcome Shabbat. Do you know what you did right now? You did something called a mitzvah, lehosif mehachol el hakodesh, to take from the weekday and to transfer it to Shabbat. It's a big deal in Judaism. It means that you take from the weekdays, it's also week. It's the days that the bad powers in control of the weekdays. And you bring those 10 minutes to the holy side, to Shabbat. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And if you do so, if you take the Shabbat and you make it early, what's the letters that are early to the Shabbat? Is Asher, you become wealthy. So means if you want to have a blessing of wealth, you better accept in yourself this very easy thing to do. I accept the Shabbat earlier. Instead of accepting it at 5:15, I will accept it at 5. I'll light the candles at 5:10. Well, everybody was waiting for you. We forgive you. So, this is what it means. Me'asher shemena lachmo v'uiten madanei melech. You want to be like Asher? Oily bread means blessing of wealth. You have to take the Shabbat, make it Asher earlier the Shabbat. This is what our sages say. By the way, there's Rabbi Menachem Mendel from Rimanov, the one that we spoke about, has also insights on this. And he says, you know, on Shabbat, there is a phrase in the Talmud. It's in Masechet Shabbat, page 118. It says there, I'll say it in Hebrew and I'll translate. עשה שבתך חול, ואל תצטרך לבריות. It means, make your Shabbat a weekday, and don't be needy. Means don't be in the need of others. So the simple explanation of this phrase is, on Shabbat we should have everything more fancy than a weekday. If you eat every day one dish, let's say dinner, you eat, let's say, chicken. You cannot have chicken for Shabbat. This is disrespecting Shabbat. You have to have fish and chicken. Now, if in a weekday you eat fish and chicken, 2 dishes and a regular dinner, you have to have in Shabbat dinner fish and chicken and lamb. Because Shabbat needs to be more elevated than everything. It's a law. If you buy the chicken breast, Emmanuel, if you buy the chicken breast for the weekday, so you take the chicken thigh for Shabbat. It's more juicy and it costs more. So you are in a problem, okay? You need to buy caviar, I don't know, to make Shabbat something more, Yeah. So, now, the Torah says like this. Listen. The Torah says, you better, it says, make your Shabbat a weekday, means if you don't have money. So what do? What's better? To make my Shabbat regular, like a weekday, means I don't honor Shabbat. I just eat the chicken on Shabbat, like I eat in a weekday, because I don't have money for beef. Or, maybe I should go and ask for donations or loans to honor the Shabbat. Comes the Torah and says, Aseh Shabbatecha chol, make your Shabbat like a weekday, just don't be in need. And go take from other people. Okay? So that's the law. That's the... Rabbi Menachem Mendel from Rimanov says, okay, now I want to explain you the same phrase a little bit more deeper. This Torah phrase says, in other words, Aseh Shabbatecha chol, make your Shabbat a weekday. How do you make your Shabbat weekday? When you get the Shabbat earlier, it means you take the week and you make it Shabbat. You take the 10 minutes from the week and you make it Shabbat. Aseh Shabbatecha chol, take the weekday into Shabbat. And if you do so, lo titztarech yabir, you're not going to be in need. You're not going to be needy. You'll always have income. You'll always have good money. That's his interpretation. Means, beside what we spoke about, a trust in God gives you the money. The more you worry, the more you damage. The more you read Parashat Hamann, you get this trust. And it's a zgula to get parnasah, to get income, especially today or every day. Beside that, reading the 10 times every morning or every day, it's good. But here we get another thing, which each one of us can do. Accept the Shabbat a little bit earlier. Show God, Hashem, I love your Shabbat. You know what? I want it 10 minutes before. And if you do so, Hashem says you would not be in need of other people. More than that, you will get the blessing of Asher, because the letters of Shabbat, before Shabbat, is Asher, Shmona Lachmo, you're going to have a lot of wealth. So Bezrat Hashem, this is a little bit some advice how to get a little bit more wealthy with all the situation today, as we said in the beginning. And Bezrat Hashem, how to protect our money. And Be'emet, the real way to protect our money is not the physical way to put it in the bank, and it's in the spiritual way. Bezrat Hashem, I hope this was beneficial, and Yehi Ratzon that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bless all of you with a lot of wealth and a lot of health and a lot of nachat from your children. And Zivug Agun, they say that this week is the best week in the year to pray for two things: for money and for your to find your soulmate. Why? Because in this week we read the opening of the sea. And the Talmud says that there's two things that are very hard for God to do for us, like opening the sea. That was very hard for God to do as well. And this is income and matchmaking. So those two things that we pray for this week, they say it's a tremendous time to get the blessing for that. So Bezrat Hashem, all those who need the shidduch, Linda, Bezrat Hashem, we'll get it fast. It doesn't matter how old are you. You need a shidduch, each one, right? Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen v'amen. Chazak u'baruch. If you have any questions, bechavod. Thank you for David and all whoever did the setup. Yes.